Good day, viewers, and welcome to another wonderful episode of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. Here we bring you the news, events, and stories abounding in the state system. ATN's appetite for in-depth, unbiased, and factual reportage is the driving principle for this program in order to bring you government activities to the doorstep of the people. We'll go through the highlights of today's reports and headlines. From Rivers State, Governor Fubara declares two-day public holiday. Ekiti State Governor speaks on food security. Engage military to wipe out Boko Haram. Article 6 rotational presidency. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll go straight into the details. Stay with us.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
Welcome back. And now we dive into the details for today. In Rivers State, Governor Siminalayi Fubara has announced 2 days of public holiday. Fubara declared Thursday and Friday as public holidays to enable residents to perform their civic duty in the Saturday of the 5th of elections. Fubara made the announcement in a statewide broadcast at the government house in Port Harcourt on Wednesday. The Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Nelson Chukwudi, stated Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State has declared Thursday, October the 3rd and Friday, October the 4th, 2024 as public holidays. This is to enable residents to travel and participate in the Saturday, October 5th local government elections. The governor also announced strict restrictions on vehicular movements of residents from midnight on Friday, October the 4th to 5 p.m. on the election day. He made the declarations in a statewide broadcast to the people of the state at the government house in Port Harcourt on Wednesday. The statement reads, "Against these backgrounds, I wish to assure every citizen that the election for the 23 local government area councils in River State shall be held on Saturday, 5th October 2024 throughout the state. The state government has provided necessary funds and which has assured me that it is fully prepared and ready to conduct and deliver a fair, free and credible local government council elections as scheduled." He made the declarations in a statewide broadcast to the people of the state at the government house in Port Harcourt on Wednesday, today. He continued saying, "To this end, I hereby declare Thursday and Friday, the 3rd and 4th of October 2024 as public holidays for citizens to travel to their communities and participate in the election." Still in River State, Independent National Electoral Commission has denied providing the voters register to the River State Independent Electoral Commission for the upcoming local government elections on October 5th. Addressing journalists in Port Harcourt, River State Resident Electoral Commissioner Johnson Alalibo stated that INEC is adhering to the Federal High which has restrained the Commission from releasing the voters' register. Mr. Alalibo explained that while RISEC had made a formal request for the voters' register, the process was not completed before the court order was issued. Correspondent Samuel Ajurunwa reports that Alalibo further revealed that the voters' register is currently under the department of the Commission. In a different story, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has expressed concern over the negative impact of the global economic crisis on the availability and affordability of quality medications. Speaking at a sensitization workshop on counterfeit drugs and other substandard products, South Director Buchukuma described the proliferation of fake and substandard drugs as a growing issue and a crime against humanity. Chukuma emphasized that the substandard and counterfeit drugs are prevalent in regions which access to high-quality medicines is limited and where the implementation of good pharmacy practices is either absent or poorly enforced. He highlighted the prevalence of counterfeit anti-malarial, antibacterial, and anti-hypertensive, anti-diabetic, and lifestyle drugs, warning of the severe public health consequences, which include increased hospital admissions, prolonged hospital stays, drug resistance, treatment failures, and, on worst cases, death. According to the director of NAFDAC, the public implications of this is enormous. Chukuma noted that NAFDAC has intensified efforts to combat the menace by enhancing its inspection processes, particularly at the nation's ports of entry. He said the agency now mandates pre-shipment notifications from all importers before drugs arrive in Nigeria, among other stringent measures. Do not forget that we are open for adverse placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us and stay connected on our socials, Facebook and YouTube Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok at Atlantic TV Network 1, X, formerly known as Twitter, Atlantic TV/net. On our website, it's atlanticnetwork.tv. Speaking at the flag-off of the Omoba Rail Line Junction ceremony in Ishialangwa South Local Government Area, Governor Alex Otti, who titled his speech, "Partnership That Works for Our People," expressed the willingness of Abia State to work with regional and international development partners to achieve the agenda of his government. The governor disclosed that he has since paid 600 million naira counterpart fund for RAAMP, as well as approved the additional release of 2.6 billion naira to facilitate effective project execution and cut down incidences of delays over the entire project cycle. Governor Oti said that the 19.1 kilometer stretch of road is only the pilot phase of RAAMP in the state, and announced that before the end of the year, more contractors for road construction would be awarded. extending up to 256 kilometers spread in different parts of the state. The governor, who described the RAAMP as an integrated infrastructural development framework set up to stimulate the economic transformation of rural communities, added that the project would include building roads to traverse through major agricultural zones and markets. He said, "This is a World Bank-supported scheme under the Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project, which is RAAMP. This particular road project had for several years been awarded to the board without traction. We are glad that we are able to move it from the drawing board to the execution board." The markets cutting across 6 local government areas in the 3 senatorial districts, including Eke Uzuakoli in Bende local government area, Ndioro Market in Ikwano, Ore Obinto in Arochukwu, Nkwa-Elechi in Obingwa, Nkwa-Ebe in Isialangwa South, and Ohanko Market in Okwa East. According to the governor, the target of his administration in the RAAMP is to build a broad economic system that runs on the productive energy of the people. He added that the food insecurity, unemployment, poverty, and the rising tide of rural-urban migration are proof that the agricultural value chain has not been given the pride of place it deserves in the state. While appreciating the World Bank team for its efforts in actualizing the dream, he assured that the roads will be constructed to high standards to support the anticipated increase of economic activities in the communities. Speaking, the Commissioner for Poverty Alleviation and Social Protection, Ms. Ngozi Felix, said that by flagging off of the project, the jinx over Abia RAMP has been broken, as former administrations in the state could not bring the RAMP project to fruition. In Ekiti State, Governor Biodun Oyebanji has said his administration is returning the state to the farm settlement era witnessed in the Old Western region under the leadership of the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo, in order to boost agriculture and food security. The governor, who utilized the Independence Anniversary public holiday to undertake a visit to young farmers in 3 cluster areas of the state on Tuesday, disclosed this during his visit to the Ikere farm settlement. He also said construction work on ultra-modern dormitories at the farm settlement would commence within the next 3 weeks. About 930 youths are involved in the youth agricultural scheme known as Bring Back Youth into Agriculture, being carried out in the state government in collaboration with the private entity of YSJ Farms. Under the scheme, the government provides young farmers with land, assists them with land clearing and seedlings, as well as agri-extension services, amongst others. The Governor Yebanji said he was determined to invest hugely in agriculture in the state as a form of empowerment for the youths and to ensure food security and to drive industrialization. He stressed that revamping the old farm settlement strategy of the late Chief Awolowo was the only way to ensure the young farmers stay in the farms and maximize government support for the scheme. The governor also made stopovers at some farms and took time to personally interact with the farmers and asked of their needs, which he drew the attention of the Commissioner of Agriculture and Food Security, Mr. Ebenezer Boluade, to, for prompt action. The proposed dormitories for the young farmers, according to him, would be facilities like sitting rooms, kitchens, security posts, sick bays, amongst others, in his administration's bid to attract more young farmers into agri-businesses and turn the state into a huge agricultural hub. Move on to the FCT now, where operatives of the Command of Nigerian Police have uncovered a kidnappers' hideout in Sauka area, located in the airport road of the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja. Police also arrested 4 suspected kidnappers at the hideout, including an ex-convict named Yao Sani, a.k.a. Baba, Nuhu, a.k.a. Giwa, Kabiru Mohammed, and Yusuf Hassan. Spokesperson of the FCT Police Command, SP Josephine Ade, while confirming the arrest, said the anti-kidnapping unit of the FCT Police Command on October 1st, acting on credible intelligence, trailed and arrested 4 notorious kidnappers who have been terrorizing the Federal Capital Territory. One of them, named Yao Sani, also known as Baba, is an ex-convict. Nuhu, known as Giwa, and Kabiru Mohammed and Yusuf Hassan at their criminal hideouts in Sauku, Abuja, living within the general population. The suspects confessed to being responsible for a series of kidnappings of unsuspecting residents in FCT and its environs, the killing of 7 victims in the process. The gang members have attacked Dakwaki, Akko Estate, Dupe Village in Zuma Rock, Kuchiko Village, and some villages in Niger and Kaduna. The police further said the suspect led its operatives to another hideout in Gao Raka Forest, Suleja in Niger State, where they dug out 4 AK-47 rifles, 13 AK-47 magazines, 162 rounds of 7.6mm live ammunition. The suspects also confessed their intended plans to attack some government institutions and estates within the FCT, which have been proactively prevented by the command, the PRO stated. The command reiterated its commitment to stamping out crime and criminality within the FCT and urged members of the public to report any suspicious or unusual activities to the police emergency lines, which were The statements also urged the public to lodge their complaints by contacting PCB at 090-22222-352 or the CRU at 081-073-14192. Analysts has voiced that EFCC is the institution that can investigate money laundering. Speaking on Atlantic television program Open Conversation, public affairs analyst Chizi Nyemasila cited that the Bible or Quran cannot be used to find out how money was stolen.
The court of the people. As a person, I will sit before the screen and then begin to read out what I had. Let it just do it. So that is not easy. I as a person in performance, I trusted of in performance and in, but this one he has to be the one to clear it. But for Nigeria, he should leave the Quran. Let him call the EFCC and call the other people to go, ICPC to.
All right.
We recall that former governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasiru Ahmed El-Rufai, has said that he can swear with the Holy Quran that he didn't steal money while in office and challenged his predecessors to do so. Move on to Kano State, where the state is set to host a high-profile workshop on agricultural transformation, with former President Olusegun Obasanjo expected to chair the event. The workshop, which will be held on the 7th of October and 8th, 2024, will bring together about 20 state governors, representatives from 10 African countries, officials from the Islamic Development Bank, headquarters in Jeddah, and leadership of Sasakawa Africa Association from Tokyo and the USA. In a statement signed by the SSA's communication officer, Mr. Moses Nongwatse, it was revealed that the workshop would focus on the ISDB-funded Kano State Agro-Pastoral Development Project, highlighting its success and exploring ways to replicate the initiative in other states. The theme of the workshop is Agricultural Transformation and What Works, reflections from the crop value chain of the Kano State Agro-Pastoral Development Project. The statement further noted that the workshop, a collaboration with the ISDB and the Kano State government, aims to foster discussions on sustainable agricultural development across Nigeria. SAA Nigeria Country Director Dr. Godwin Atsa emphasized the importance of the workshop in showcasing KSADP's achievements and providing networking options and opportunities for state governors to explore the funding for agricultural initiatives in their region. He said, in the past 3 years, KSADP has strategically positioned Kano on the path to sustainable agricultural growth with significant investments in climate-smart agriculture. The statement further noted that the workshop, a collaboration with the ISDB and the Kano State Agro-Pastoral Development Project, the statement further noted that the workshop, a collaboration with the ISDB and the Kano State Agro-Pastoral Development Project, It also invested in livestock and dam development, post-harvest loss reduction, employment, poverty alleviation, and infrastructure development, Dr. Atsa said. The two-day event will also witness the launch of a large-scale mechanizing support initiative aimed at boosting productivity of Kano farmers. Additionally, officials will provide insights into how the state assessed financing for agricultural development. It is noteworthy that SAA is implementing the crop value chain component of the KSADP through a $19 million sub-grant, offering technical support to enhance agricultural productivity and competitiveness. Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf is expected to host and governors from several states, including Jigawa, Kaduna, Kwara, Kogi, Oyo, Ogun State, Enugu, Cross River, Benue, Gombe, Yobe, Zamfara, Niger, Katsina, and Akwa Ibom, amongst others. Representatives from various federal ministries, departments, and agencies will also be in attendance. As the security situation continues to deteriorate in the northeast and northwest, the senator for Borno South Senatorial District, Ali Ndume, has advised President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to employ the services of military contractors to wipe out Boko Haram terrorists in Borno State. He continued to pose a threat to the region. Ndume hailed the gallant performance of the military and civilian JTF, but also said they were ill-equipped to carry out the task of eliminating the remaining insurgents operating within the region. The senator, who is currently in Benin Republic for an ECOWAS parliament engagement, spoke by telephone with journalists yesterday in Abuja. He was reacting to the Boko Haram terrorist attack in Ngoshe Goza local government area of Borno State on Monday. The terrorists had launched a fresh attack on the area, leading to the killing of 6 farmers and abduction of 5 others, including women and others. It was learned that during the attack, the commander of the civilian JTF in the area, Jibril Dada Zarana, was killed by terrorists. No military officer died, though they tried without success to repel the attackers. The fresh attack came a few weeks after the same terrorists killed many civilians in a bomb blast. Hundreds of civilians were also injured. Ndume said the military superpowers also hired military contractors to aid them in warfare. He listed the United States of America, Russia, United Kingdom, and France, amongst others, as countries that often engage in services of military contractors. In the long run, he said able-bodied Nigerian youths could be drafted to raise number of military men in the country to at least 1 million. Ndume lamented that farmers who were regular victims to the attack were being forced by Boko Haram terrorists to abandon their farms and the harvest at a time when the country was facing a serious food crisis. The senator stated, all across the world, governments hire the services of military contractors to engage in certain places. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu can consider this as a short-run measure. The contractors will work with our military and civilian JTF who understand the terrain. The contractors will come up with their equipment and military hardware in a very short time. They will eliminate Boko Haram terrorists. The contractors can also be used to eliminate those bandits operating in Northwest. Over a period, the federal government can now recruit youths to join the military and raise the number to at least 1 million. In the interim, I think the president should consider this option of hiring military contractors. A councillor at Ngoshi Ward, Goza local government area, Philibus Yakubu, said the commander of the Civilian Joint Task Force, which is the JTF in the area, Jibril Zarana, was killed in an attack. Yakubu said the terrorists ambushed farmers in their farms, killed some of them and abducted others. He stated, the Boko Haram terrorists released 3 women from which this information was obtained. The released women further stated that the victims were being kept hostage by the terrorists. Moreover, some people were still missing as at the time that we are talking. As a result of this incident, the people did not return to Ngoshe during the catastrophe, and as reported by the released women, they were not part of the ones abducted, Yakubu lamented. Our people are severely suffering due to lack of essential life support, but they have chosen to remain in their fatherland because of the love that they have for it. The state government has really tried for our people, but NGOs and others are not providing us with adequate food supplies. You're watching Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after the short break. Don't go nowhere.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water, and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats, and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women, and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors, and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
Welcome back to Government and Public Service Report on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. The three clusters visited by the governor and some officials, included those in Ekboru, Emure, Ekere, and Aramoko, Eto, where he monitored the young farmers who are participating in one of the agricultural initiatives of his administration, bringing back the youth to agriculture. The governor, Oyebanji, also assured of the readiness of his administration to expedite action on those requests of the youth and the farmers, which include motorable roads, security at the locations, and provision of vehicles and motorcycles to aid mobility of the participants. The governor had to defy the challenge of muddy and swampy terrain posed by the road, which led to the Aramoko Eru cluster, by hopping on a motorcycle in his determined bid to reach the young farmers who were excited by the gesture of getting to the place to pay them a morale-boosting visit. Oyebanji had earlier paid visit to Oke Akoko, Ire Meru, While visiting the previous farms, the governor said it was unacceptable and that the people of the state to be complaining of hunger and queuing up for palliative materials when the state is blessed with arable land, stressing that a paradigm shift has begun with his administration investing in agriculture. He described agriculture as a lucrative business, noting that farmers are amongst the richest set of people in developed economies, pointing out that the participating youths in particular and the state is, in general, would reap bountifully in the harvest in agribusinesses in the long run. He commended the Chief Executive Officer of YSJ Farms, Misia Misi Jolume, for partnering with his administration to take agriculture to a higher pedestal. Oyebanje explained that with the massive clearing of land for agricultural purposes carried out by his administration, the stage has been set for the resuscitation of farm settlements established under the leadership of Awolowo to ensure mass production of food for local consumption, export and provision of job opportunities for the teeming youths. The Agogo of Ikere Ekiti, Oba Adejime Adu Alagbadu, who lauded the governor's vision to invest in agriculture, pledged the support of his kingdom for the project and charged the youths of the town who are participants in the scheme to work hard and to justify their inclusion. In all the 3 local locations visited by the governor, the participation of all youths, including Margaret Basoro, Olu Okeya, Kolawole Ganiya, and Falasha Iflana, hailed the state government and the YSJ for giving them a platform for their self-development and to contribute to the state economy. Bill seeking to license the operation and practice of private investigators in Nigeria has been shut down on the floor of the Senate. The sponsor of the bill, Senator Sita Ngo, was advised to step down the bill after some senators described the proposed bill as a recipe for disaster. Correspondent Rotimi Adewuye reports.
The bill to license the operation and practice of a private investigator suffered a setback when some senators smelled danger in some aspects of the bill. The Senate's decision to suspend consideration of the bill was sequel to a deliberation which lasted for 1 hour during plenary on Wednesday. Senator Ogu took time to highlight some provisions of the bill. He said the legislation seeks to provide a framework for licensing and practice of private investigators in Nigeria. The bill also seeks to provide a system of regulation, control, and conduct of the practice so as to ensure professional standards.
To undertake investigatory law services. They often work for lawyers in several cases. Many work for insurance companies to investigate suspicious claims. Others do background checks and due diligence and render many other services. Perhaps due to TV culture, private investigators are very often seen as glamorized independent investigators with fancy gadgets and dramatic flares for solving cases. Nevertheless, they are a vital segment of the civil and criminal justice administration and law enforcement across the globe. Private investigators could be used in various capacities. While some specialize in tracing, others specialize in technical surveillance countermeasures, which is the locating and dealing with unwanted forms of electronic surveillance. For example, a boardroom for industrial espionage purposes. This type of service is typically conducted by those with background in intelligence, counterintelligence, executive protection, and law enforcement.
While Senator Victor Ume, Senator Larry Oyewumi, and other senators spoke in support of the bill, Senator Adams Oshiomhole and Senator Aminu Abbas and some other senators said the idea of spying into the private lives of Nigerians is something that has tendency of a bad outcome.
Because there are so many cases we know that have arisen, but they have been swept under the carpet by these agencies he expressed they're mandated to carry out these investigations. Mr. President, there are so many issues of murder that have been reported to the police, and the police has not been able to do any diligent work to investigate them. particularly when they go into it and see very highly connected people around it, they sweep it under the carpet. Nigeria cannot afford to proceed this way. From this bill, you can see that civilized nations of the world have private investigators. And what this bill is seeking to do is to regulate the standard of practice for those who will be licensed as private investigators.
The Senate to enact a law that will give a Nigerian to apply for a license, that will be sole license, such that he can carry out investigation on anyone. I saw here to prevent fraud prevention. That is what EFCC and the police are about. Corporate fraud, any manner of fraud, whether corporate, individual. I think that would be risky to license anyone to have the right to approach any one of us and ask certain questions because the law has empowered him so to do. It will just be a license for extortion, a license for blackmail, and unnecessary rivalry, and it will not be controllable. Applications. But even if you were to say so, I believe that it will just amount to giving so few people the power to intrude into your privacy, the power to be used by political opponents to victimize perceived targets.
The bill, among other things, seeks to bridge the gap. Agencies saddled with the responsibilities of investigations refuse to deliver on their mandate. It provides avenue for private investigators to proceed with such investigations and bring out outcome. Some senators see it as a loophole creating credibility. BTN News, Abuja.
Still on the members of the House of Representatives, drawn from various political parties on Wednesday, they called for the conferment of the national honor of the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger on the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas. The House described as demeaning the conferment of the Commander of the Federal Republic of the Speaker on the Speaker and the GCON of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun.
Member representing Basa from Jos North, Plateau State, as
the deputy spokesman of the House, Philip Agbese, described as unacceptable the treatment of the House of Representatives as if it were some inferior part of the Senate, in apparent reference to the conferment of the GCON on the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio.
Committee on Sustainable Development, Umar Yusuf Yabo, member representing, no? Sorry, there is a correction there. Lawal Shatima Ali, who has a motion of public urgent importance for him to rise and move his motion. Deputy Chairman, Environment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain honorable.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is refers to the committees on works and water resources for
Other lawmakers in their contribution observed that the Constitution, in promoting a balanced and equal bicameral legislature, clearly provides that bills passed by one chamber must be concurred with by the other chamber in the same form for them to become law, thus affirming the equal status of both chambers as essential components of the legislative process.
Chambers, House of Representatives and the Senate, as clearly provided in the Constitution, work to create laws for the good governance of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, in accordance to the protocol of this country, the Speaker is the fourth in protocol, comes after. Today, given the award, the honor of GCON, I think there is some mismatch, some mix-up.
Injustice to one is injustice to all. This injustice has gone on for too long. It is not something that has happened only on this administration, but it's an institutional error that has festered for too long.
The House of Representatives is the backbone of this democracy. 360 members sit in these chambers, and there is one man that has been able to keep this House in check, and that position is none other than the Speaker of the House of Representatives. I didn't mention Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, PhD. I mentioned the Speaker of the House of Representatives that sits and leads 360 members that were duly elected by the people of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, in our constituencies, we are the ones that the people cry to. I do not remember the last time that our people went to look for the senator. I know that they come to see the House of Reps members.
The House further adopted the motion and resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to be chaired by the House leader, Professor Julius Ihonvere, with the membership from all the geopolitical zones to investigate and report back to the House. In a bid to reduce the incidence of floods ravaging farmers' crops across the Federation, the House of Representatives has called for the dredging of major dams and rivers to avert floods across the country. In a motion moved by Honorable Mohammed Shehu of Bauchi on the floor of the House, he noted that the government's negligence in supporting farmers' efforts to address flooding its action plan, which would enhance drainage systems mechanisms to control flooding in the country. He said that it is worrisome that 80% of the farmers in Nigeria have suffered significant crop losses, leading to deaths in the farming business.
To dredge major dams and rivers to avert flood across the Federation. Mr. Speaker, the House notes dredging of major dams and rivers in the country is essential to reduce the incidence of flood ravaging farmers' crops. Also note that government negligence in supporting farmers' effort to address the flooding has hindered the implementation of an adequate action plan which will enhance drainage system mechanism to control flood in the country. Worry that negligence has led to an inadequate drainage system, insufficient flood control measures, lack of support for farmers to adapt to climate change, inadequate compensation for farmers' losses, and the inefficient water resources management. Aware that developed countries like the United States of America, the United States Kingdom, and South Africa have made a flood control through proper drainage sustainability a key object of the administration in order to safeguard the environment, improve food security, and ensure food sustainability. Recognize that proper dredging of major dams and rivers will encourage irrigation farming, which will turn yield abundant food production for domestic consumption and exportation. Consequently, contribute to the economic development. However, annual flooding is destroying farmers' effort, causing losses with billions of dollars and high risk of excessive flooding due to the government inaction.
According to the member statistics from the MBS, revealed that in 2018, floods destroyed crops worth 756 billion naira. In 2019, 890 billion naira, and in 2020, 1.2 trillion naira. The House also resolved to urge the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Environment to direct the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency to evaluate the framework drainage control system and to actualize the desired result. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, the ICPC, has reported a recovery of 13 billion naira in diverted public funds during September 2024. Chairman Dr. Musa Aliyu made the announcement during the launch of the ICPC Strategic Action Plan 2024 to 2028 in Abuja on Wednesday. Aliyu commended the recovery as a remarkable achievement and a testament to the Commission's ongoing efforts to combat corruption and promote accountability within Nigeria. He said, over the past years, the ICPC has made significant progress in discharging its mandate. For example, we recovered over 13 billion naira diverted public funds in September 2024 alone, he stated. We are also embarking on ICT reforms that will digitalize our operations and enable more efficient investigations, case management, and internal processes. This transformation positions the Commission as a frontrunner in utilizing technology to combat corruption, enabling us to stay ahead of the digital age criminal activities, he stated. Aliyu noted that the Commission is also developing a specialized curriculum aimed at enhancing the enforcement capabilities of its personnel. Similarly, in September 20, 2024, the ICPC announced it had successfully recovered nearly 4 billion naira in public funds within 24 hours. From September 18 to 19, 2024. This recovery, which involved funds illegally diverted into private accounts, was announced by its chairman, Aliyu, during a National Anti-Corruption Coalition Members Interactive Forum held in Abuja. Federal government has been told to stop playing the time-buying gimmicks with the Academic Staff Union of Universities by immediately implementing past agreements reached with the union to avert another national strike. The Yola zone of ASU accused the federal government of insensitivity manifested through its refusal to implement agreements reached years ago with the union. In a statement signed by its chairman, Dami Maman, ASU asked the federal government to stop toying with the future of Nigerian students by implementing, in particular, the agreements reached in 2022 with the union that prompted suspension of the strike that year. The zone comprises Mobibo Adama University Yola, University of Maiduguri, Federal University in Gashau, Taraba State University Jalingo, Adamawa State University Mubi, and Yobe State University Damaturu. Maman said, "It does not make sense for the federal government to be consistently reneging on agreements. The failure of governments to implement contents of several memoranda of understanding and action between 2013 and 2022 have particularly hampered access to wholesome industrial harmony in public universities," the union said. It added that although ASU had on August 21, 2024, issued a 21-day ultimatum for the resolution of all issues in contention since 2009, nothing tangible had changed. He said, "Let us make it crystal clear that at the end of these 2 additional weeks, that our union, national leadership, gave the federal government, if nothing concrete comes out, our members will not hesitate to withdraw our services," he stated. The union further charged the federal government to act now, adding that government should be blamed if the union resumes strike action if the demands were not appropriately addressed. And this is where we wrap it up on this edition of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network in the city of Port Harcourt. My name is King David Obasi. Thank you so far for staying with us. Continue with us on our socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X, formerly known as Twitter, Atlantic TV/net. On our website, it's atlantictvnetwork.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you so far for staying with us. Up next is the International Tidbits.